This is Phil from W2LIE.net. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install the newest firmware and reband a Uniden BCT-8 scanner. In order to go through the process, we're going to need several things. We're going to need a Windows-based computer. We're going to need the scanner. We're going to need a way to have it plugged in. We're going to need a serial card end cable, and in my case, it's a serial to USB cable. And we're also going to need the software from the Uniden website, including the firmware. So in order to get started, we have a BCT-8 scanner set up with the pre-reband frequencies for both a Motorola and an EDACS system. So let's quickly look through the scanner and we'll see where and how we can find out that we need the latest firmware. We're going to go through bank 1, and this is our trunk bank for a Motorola system. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it up right now. So I went ahead and held down the trunk button. I'm going to press 1 for bank 1. And I'm going to look for E2 custom. So being that that is missing, it's telling me I do not have the latest firmware from Uniden. So let's go ahead over to the computer and let's download the latest firmware. Let's take a look at the Uniden TWiki webpage. We're going to need two things from this website. First of all, we're going to need the BC VUP version 2. This version is 2.0.0.7. We're going to need to download this, save the zip file, unzip it, and run the executable, and that will install the firmware software into our computer, which actually is the it allows us to talk to the radio and push the firmware. And additionally, we need the firmware itself, and at the time of this recording is BCT version 1.60.zip. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to download the zip file, we're going to extract the zip file, and we're going to call that file from within the Uniden software. So let's go ahead now, and we're going to go ahead and run this software. Like I said, I've already got this downloaded and zipped. So I'm going to go down to Start, Programs, Uniden, and start the process. Okay, so I've now started the Uniden BCVUP, which is the software updater, and it automatically comes with a splash screen for you to open up the firmware file. So let's go ahead and click OK. And I have the firmware saved right here, so I'm going to click on that once and hit OK. So you'll see there's a couple things we have to do to the radio. First, we'll obviously need to have the computer hooked up to the radio. We're going to need to have it plugged into a electrical source, and we're going to need to press a key sequence. And this is 3 keys as we turn the radio on. It's going to be the PVT, the lockout, and the number 6 key. So let's do that before we move on to the software. So let's turn the radio off. Turning the radio on, we're going to hit PVT, lockout, and 6. When the radio turns back on, it will be a blank screen that's lit up. So we'll go ahead and we'll click OK. We're going to say it's on COM port 1. And we're going to start the upgrade process now. So at this time, the old firmware is being erased, and now the new firmware is being pushed to the radio. And this process takes just a couple of minutes. So now that the firmware has been updated in the scanner, we'll click on OK because we're done with the software. We'll come over to the scanner. We'll turn the radio off. And we'll turn the radio back on again. So at this time, we've got the new firmware installed in the scanner. Okay, so let's go ahead and verify that we have the new firmware installed in the BCT-8. And the easiest way to do that is, again, we're going to press and hold the trunk button. We're going to press 1 because that's the bank we're playing with. And we're going to look for the Motorola custom, which you can see here is E2CUS. So what we'll have to do is we're going to have to program frequencies, the reband frequencies, which I haven't done yet, and also the custom table. Now, this is the way I find to do the reband frequencies, is to use a piece of program called Butel Arc 8, which I have on my screen now. So here's the preloaded frequencies we've had in the radio prior to reband, and you can see these are all pre-reband frequencies for Motorola and EDACS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all 22 frequencies that I have for this system, and I'm going to copy it, And I find the easiest thing to do is just go over to Excel, paste in the frequencies. We'll delete what we don't need. I'm going to do a little simple Excel formula, which is equals. Then I'm going to click on the frequency I want to change. Then hit minus 15. Because in my area, I'm down 15 megahertz on the reband. And I'm going to drag the lower corner down. And I have all the new reband frequencies for this Motorola system. I'm going to hit copy. Come back over to Butel. I'm going to hit paste. And there's the new reband channels. And the same thing for the EDACS system. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to paste. And again, I'm going to hit equals. The cell to the left, minus 15. Drag them down. Hit copy. Come back over to the Butel software. And hit paste. And at that point, my EDACS system is rebanded. There's nothing for me to do now except to send the program back over to the radio. As far as the Motorola system goes, we still need to play inside the radio. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to the radio and send the file over. Send data to scanner. Right now I'm just worried about sending over the frequencies, and I'm doing 2 banks, so I'm going to do channels 1 to looks like 67. I see the 67 down here in the corner is my last channel I'm playing with today. And I'm going to go ahead and send the data. And at this time, the new frequencies are being sent over to the radio. Okay, now that we're done sending the channels over to the radio, I'll just do a quick example and show you that the EDACS system is set up and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click scan. So as you can see, our EDACS system is up and scanning without any problems. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back over to the Motorola system. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press and hold trunk. Press the button 1, because that's the bank we're going to be in. I'm going to change this to a E2 custom system. And we're going to need to know the Motorola Reband custom tables. The Motorola custom tables are located on the bottom of the TWiki page from Uniden. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow what's on the band plan. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter for custom. We've already programmed in the frequencies, so we need to set up our base and offsets. So we're going to hit enter for base, plan 1, and it's 851.025. And the upper limit is 854.0. The spacing is 25 kilohertz, and the offset is 440. And we're polarity plus. And we're going to hit hold resume to back out one. We're going to go to band 2, hit enter. The base on band 2 is 851.0125. The upper is 868.9875. Spacing again is 25 kilohertz. And the offset is 0. And we're going to hit hold and back out again. So now we're in our Motorola bank. And we're going to hit scan. And trunk. And here we are. We are trunking in a Motorola Reband system. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how to reband and upgrade the firmware on a Uniden BCT-8. you have any questions, please contact me on my website, which is www.w2lie.net, or by leaving a comment in the YouTube video. This is W2LIE saying 7-3.